My name is Rocio Restrepo. I'm from Colombia, but I live in the US. I'm 28 years old. When I was 15 years old, I won my first adult medal in a world championship, and that holds a record to this day because nobody has ever won at that age. I have 5 world medals in the youth and the adult division. Well, my dad got a membership to a social club in Colombia, and that was the only place where they had a bowling alley. Obviously, I fell in love because that was the only thing, obviously, I couldn't have back then. So I really liked it and I enjoyed it. I played different sports, but I was really good at bowling and I picked it up really quick. So then I made the adult team and the junior team of Colombia, and after that, I just couldn't live it anymore. I just had to be a part of it. It was hard there for a while because we didn't have a tour. So we had to bowl with the men, and obviously they have a bigger rev rate. We couldn't get as many tournaments, so we are competing against the men, but our chances were a lot lower. It was tough for a while, but being a woman is not a big issue in bowling. They appreciate us and they know where we stand, and they love women bowling. That's why they brought it back. I never really thought that I was going to be a professional bowler. You never know where you're going to be, so pursue your dreams and follow your dreams because it was all worth it. Push you to be better, and you never know.
Welcome, bowling fans, to Strikers, the bowling champions. My name is Mark Buffa. I'm alongside today in the booth with Don Mose. This is episode 4.
It is 4 weeks.
4
That's
weeks in.
4 flights into Quebec City.
There you go. And we've got a great lineup for you guys today. We've got the battle of the lefties in the first match with Jean-Michel Laliberté and Jacques Ouellette, 2 great bowlers in 2 different categories. Really great bowlers. And then we've got a 2-hander, Danny Paré, coming up against Alain Morneau later on in the show. The winner of those matches will face each other, okay? And that will give us in our top 8. So from the previous weeks, we've got, in the first bracket, we've got Pascal Dextras, who won his side of the bracket, so he's already into the top 8. And then we've got Marc-André Gagné, and we also have Raphaël Duhamel-Roy, who we saw last week, who is now in the top 8. So here we see the first shot of Jean-Michel Laliberté. Oh, goes light, leaves the 9-10. Bad break. Don't see that too often.
No, but what I find unique about his ball reaction, though, is he actually has one that he could really square up with. I mean, it's not jerky off the spot. It's really rolly.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, Don, is in this bowling center, what really works is straighter is greater.
Straighter is greater.
Yeah. So the guys that are able to get the ball into a roll early, that's what we get. So the idea on that spare is to really try to fit it between the 9 and 10. I would have thrown it straight.
Yeah, but between you and I would pick it either way. I don't care. This is the first time we've seen 2 lefties.
Yeah.
And they're battling it out.
Great shot by Jacques. Jacques is a great competitor. He's been around the block a bunch of times, and he's also won one of the biggest tournaments here in Quebec in the Rivière-du-Loup, the 4-man tournament. And He's ecstatic about that, and he's looking to do a great performance here. So the way that these bowlers qualify to make it into TV, the top 32 that we've seen over the last couple weeks, is that they have to qualify under home center. So all of these guys are from all four corners of the province. For example, Jacques Quilles is bowling out of Montjoly in the Gaspé region, and Jean-Michel Laliberté is just outside of Quebec City here in Saint-Martin. So not Saint-Martin, sorry, Sainte-Marie. So, you know, we've got bowlers from, like I said, all across the entire province. And later in the match, we've got Danny Perry from Sherbrooke, and we've also got Alain Morneau from Laval. So you see, like, we've got guys that are not only from one little geographic spot, they're from all over the place.
Yeah. And there's some good players up here.
Yeah.
There's some very good players in Quebec.
Yeah, so we've got here Jacques Quilles. Again, right lane has been, it's been bad for a lot of players.
It certainly has. It definitely has its headaches. And once again, even though it's a new week, what are we seeing?
Same result.
The right lane's getting headaches.
We said this, I think, in week 2, where, you know, environment dominates whatever the old pattern is.
Absolutely.
You know, so something's up with that right lane where, you know, maybe there's got a little bit more of a bowl shape to it where it hooks a little bit more, or maybe it's actually like tilted like forward a little bit, which enables the ball to slow down a little bit more.
Or it could even be slightly dished because they're having a hard time pushing it.
Right. So we see Jean-Michel here throwing a little bit of a high heat on the left side of the lane. Gets the light switcher there to get the strike.
I like the way he's playing the lanes. He's playing the shim totally. He's taking the left side of the lane out of play. So he's going parallel and just bumping up against it.
Correct.
I think when it comes to like the lane breakdown, I think he'll have minimal moves. His moves will be simple.
Yeah. And he's using a piece of equipment that's a little bit smoother too.
Yes, exactly.
So that's definitely going to help him smooth into transition throughout the game and not see minimal changes. And there, great shot again, leaving the 10-pin. Sorry, 7-pin.
Well, it depends what way the mirror you look at.
Coming from the righty in the building. So Jean-Michel with a spare here can take the early lead in the match, which should be a routine spare. Makes the ball change to a plastic ball, takes his hand out of it, easy spare.
He's got a nice game.
Yeah.
Very simple, very easy. You know, so it allows him to make very simple moves. I mean, he doesn't have like that big pocket power, but you know, at times, you know, how important is it? I mean,
well, one of the things that's astonishing with the stats that he gave us before the match is he's got 9 300s and 6 800s. So that means that pretty much every time he shoots 300, he shoots 800.
That's
you know,
not
in
bad
league,
ratio,
which is pretty good, right? So, you know, you'll sometimes see some guys that have like, let's say, 80 300 games with only maybe like 2 800s. You know,
yeah.
So, you know, that shows his consistency and how he's good week in and week out to be able to compete. It's also his 4th appearance on TV. Jacques Quilles that we're seeing here now on screen, his 7th time on TV. So seasoned veteran in front of the TV. However, just FYI, Jacques just had recent surgery, and this is his first time back bowling in the last 8 months. This isn't the first shot that he's been throwing, but just saying that he's just fresh off of a little bit of a hiatus, and glad to see him back in full form here on TV.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he's very consistent on his approach. Is a little unique, but he's very consistent as far as repeating it.
Yeah. Great shot. Get back in the pocket. He's got a good look now. He's got to be able to capitalize on that. And, you know, Jean-Michel's really, he's hungry. He's got the ball up already. He thought that was a good shot, too, so he's might going to make a little bit of a move here. And start striking. A lot of these bowlers are having some trouble in the early frames, getting used to the environment.
But it seems like even on the right side or on the left side of the right lane, the 7-pin is just very difficult to get out.
Yep.
You know, but we haven't seen anybody yet that really got super parallel and just you know piped it tight.
I think that's the move. Honestly,
I have to agree with you.
Use the friction on the. Oh, he rolls out the 3-pin.
Look at that!
Rolling out the 3-pin. Watch this.
He gave that thing the serious kung fu.
Watch this. He moves. He makes a good move. Throws it into the dry part of the lane. Lets the ball come roaring back a little bit light, and we see the headpin just bounce off of the sidewall. Take care of business with the 3-pin. Great break there by Jean-Michel.
He dominated the 2-pin pocket that time.
That's it. Jean-Michel's got to capitalize on this because that's a big shift in momentum in this game. It looks okay.
Yeah, see, now he gets it a hair out, and what does it do? It hangs.
Hangs.
And then if he happens to soften up, if it does make the corner, it's a solid 7.
Yeah. So as we mentioned years weeks ago. As we mentioned weeks past, I really think that the environment that these guys are bowling on right now is conducive to your misses have to be left, and you need to be able to hold the pocket.
I agree.
You know, whereas these guys, if you're trying to miss right and get it to that spot, it's not going to make it back up the hill. It's not. Yeah, especially if you're using something really strong that we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Well, he's up on the approach.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to throw a shot.
That looks pretty good. Great shot by Jacques. Jacques is back in it.
Hits a little bit light and smacks him around. But, you know, if you watch it, he sort of falls off balance, but his arm swing doesn't change. He doesn't hit up onto the lick. His hand is soft to the bottom. And most of the time when you see bowlers fall off balance, they usually yip to the bottom, and the ball does, you know, crazy reactions at the back end, but he's very consistent in what he does.
Yep. He's got a good look. He's just got to get his feet under him after the first couple shots and just repeat. That looks in.
Whoa.
Crosses over for the strike.
There he goes.
Huge break.
Pulling a rabbit out of the hat.
Huge break for Jacques Ouellet. He's got to capitalize on that because right now that's in the middle of a string. So if he shows up on the next two shots and pures at least the first one, that's a free three-bagger.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Jean-Michel went to grab another ball in between the break.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Boy, that's getting lazy off the spot.
That's lazy off the spot. I think he was second-guessing himself because he got the light pocket hit. And that's one of the things, too. Like, do you make a ball change off of a strike?
You have to. You got to watch.
If like we said in past weeks, if it's not going through the pins right, you need to watch how the ball's going through the pins. I don't know. That's the ball he went to grab on his spares, and it didn't seem to shape up that much more in the back part of the lane.
The ball he grabbed off it was a different color. You know, I was talking to Jason Belmonte one time, and it was during one of the tour stops in Indianapolis, and he was in a tight match.
Keep going.
And then he rung a 10, and I walked up to him and I said, "Jason,
there we go.
Is that the right move for you?" He goes, "Don't worry, mate." He said, "It'll come to me." 2 more shots later, the lanes just transitioned just enough to where all of a sudden, instead of ringing a 10, he's flush.
Yep.
You know, so it's. But he could see the way the ball was going through the pocket that he believed that transition was going to take place soon.
Yeah. So here we see Jacques. Like I said, he needs to get this. It's enabling him to keep a nice and steady shape.
And he's parallel, so the ball's not doing any kind. He's keeping it on line.
Yeah.
It's not doing any kind of weird shapes.
Yeah. So Jacques, with the strike here in the 10th, pretty much just needs to stay behind the foul line for the next 2 shots. Jean-Michel is just going to do the political thing here and get out of the way. And again, great show to Jean-Michel. Another appearance on his resume on TV, and hope to see him again in the near future. He's a fierce competitor. We see him week in and week out in these events, and I'm glad to see him again here on TV. And you know, kudos to you. And you know, great show. Just a little bit too late to the party with bad ball reaction early.
Really respect the way he throws the ball very well.
Yep.
A very nice game.
So we've got a potential here for 175 for Jean-Michel Laliberté versus a potential 208 for Jacques Ouellet.
He finally moved a little more right. The ball read a little better.
Yeah. So Jean-Michel finishes up with 175. And Jacques Ouellet should finish up here at least. Big strike here in the second. Strike in the 10th. Locks in 194. Another strike here for 204. Jacques always lost his balance. I've known him for ages, and he's never stuck in at the foul line. But once he finds his look, he's hard to beat.
You know, there's another left-handed Canadian that reminds me of that, Bobby Jacks.
Bobby Jacks.
Yeah, he bowled a tour many, many, many years ago.
There you go.
But he was the same way. He'd throw a ball and he'd fall off to the left.
Yeah. But again, he's got a really long swing, nice footwork, and he gets the job done. 203 for Jacques Ouellet. So, you know, going back to strategy-wise, okay, like we're going to see another match. We've got a two-hander coming in now in the next match with Danny Perry versus another righty with Alain Morneau, excuse me. So we've got more of a rev-dominant guy and somebody that's a bit more speed-dominant. What do you see out of this? Do you think that the lefties, the two-handed guy is going to have a little bit more advantage, being able to play a little bit more left to right? Or are you giving the advantage to to Alain, that's going to be probably a little bit straighter through the front? You know, Mark, you know, if you look at the guys who try to get in and cross some boards, they've got themselves in trouble because it sort of suckers you in getting deep. Correct. And if our two-handed player starts jumping in a hair a bit deep, I think he's getting deep water. Right. I think it's going to cause a problem. And we saw it last week too with Pascal Lacaze, right? He was trying to play inside, and he crossed over on the right lane 3 times because he didn't have that much hold in the middle part of the lane. So I don't know. I'm getting kind of afraid, and just watching these guys in practice now, I guess we'll see what's up. But definitely, it's something to look into and to see. Basically, is to really control the front part of the lane to get the ball to slow down and face up in the right direction. I just don't wonder if something maybe, you know, even layout-wise, like pin a little bit closer to the axe or something, really wants to stand up, so it comes off the spot, it tends to tumble, and you can just keep on just going left and chasing that in and just ramming that shim. So what I've always done, I've bowled a lot here in Saint-Onky-Montmorency in Quebec City. And things that I've used a lot have been usually strong balls with strong layouts and a little bit less hand. Just because there's a lot of friction in this bowling center, so for me to be able to control that front part of the lane, that's been good. And also, pin down stuff hasn't been bad on the fresh. Right. But we've seen a lot of guys come out here and use a different style of equipment. We've seen guys like Roger Arsenault, lefty, he was playing with something shiny off the corner. Looked pretty good for a couple games. We've seen some guys that try to bank it a little bit more, and it didn't really work too good. So it really depends on who's you know, what really fits your game and what you want to try to do. But I still firmly believe that the straighter you're going through the front part of the lane on this pattern in this house right now, that's going to be greater. So that's going to be what we're going to have to see here in the next game. I agree. I don't think you can go too straight. You can't go too straight, though. It's a happy medium. Right. It's a happy medium. So we've got Danny Perry, our two-hander, starting out on the right lane. Now let's see what he does. Let's see how deep he gets. You know, but again, usually with a two-handed player, they don't put their thumb in the ball. We see he just palms the ball, and that's going to enable him to have a higher rev rate. So he's got a lot of revs, but not too much speed. And like we just said, the guys that play in, there's no hold. No. So the ball is not holding pocket, and he just crossed over for a blocking strike right there. Well, when they start each week, we get a fresh pattern out there, and when they run them, that pattern's short. It hasn't gone through transition yet, so there's nothing to get the ball to push for him. Correct. Oh boy. So Roger, Alain just throws it right through the spot. I think this is, we'll chalk it up to nerves. Not a good finish at the foul line. Ball gets out way too far past the break point. Doesn't get a chance to make it up the hill. This should be an easy spare. This also gives him a second look to getting a pocket shot. Absolutely. Right? 2 advantages. There you go. So now he should be lined up. Got his feet under him. Even had the messenger there. That's it. 9 spare, right? Same thing. Solid 10 pin. I always try to tell myself sometimes, like when I leave some bad leaves, and especially in a case like where it's the first frame, doesn't matter if it's 9 spare, 7 spare, whatever, especially if you back it up. So like to me, it's just like, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter what it was. Absolutely. So. It's a fill. Yep. Time to move forward. See how this look here looks. Well, he's actually in pretty deep for his rev rate. He's deeper than what we thought. Yeah. You know, I bowl with him in league at the 440 up in Laval in Montreal area, and he's a force to be reckoned with. When he's hot, he's hard to beat, you know, and it just so happens that every time I bowl against these guys, they go nuts, right? So I think the last time I bowled against him, he was like something like 820 or something like that. Like it was like 0 points for me. So, you know, I'm glad to see him here on TV. He's a great competitor, and I just think he needs to get these first 2 shots out of the way.
That was actually a good shot there.
So both his spare shots were better execution than the first one. So he just needs to sit down, breathe, take it easy, and we're good to go. So here you got Danny swinging it out. Stones the 9-pin.
Oh, what a bad break.
Stones the 9-pin. Wow, great shot.
Did you see the ball hook actually? I mean, it just hooked and rolled past it. It's just like the ball just, it was like slow motion.
Yeah. He's got slower ball speed for a two-handed player.
He certainly does.
Yeah, usually you see two-handed players have a little bit more ball speed going into the shot. So here hooks the polyester ball a little bit to pick up the 9-pin. Great spare by Denis Paré. So one of the keys that I like to work on with my two-handed students is to really keep the ball close to your body at all times. You don't want it to flare up as much. You don't need a high backswing.
No.
You know, so what you want to do is try to keep it close to your butt. Like, it might sound a little bit odd but what you want to use when you're two-handed is you want to use your upper body tilt. So by tilting the body a little bit more forward, that brings the backswing up.
Yes.
Right. So that's the way to counter it. And I've been working with a young guy in the Montreal area, 19-year-old kid, and he's improved quite a bit. But he's you know, there's different styles of two-handers. Like Danny's the type of two-hander that's got no thumb in, but you also have two-handers that will use their thumb in the ball.
Oh.
You know.
Yes.
So there we've got a little bit of trouble with the approach. Throws it in the gutter. Unfortunate for the open frame. However, this is where Alain, with a little bit of a shaky start, but still clean frames to start the game.
Yep.
You know,
even you're talking about two-handers. I mean, if you take a look at Belmonte, you take a look at Oscu.
Ooh, great shot.
In the different, even the two-handers we have on staff, none of them throw it the same.
Correct.
And Simonson's actually a rarity because his rev rate was about 440. There's plenty of guys with thumbing the ball that rev it a lot harder.
Correct.
So for a two-hander, he plays pretty parallel.
Yeah, and the thing is that because two-handed bowling has only been around for about the last 10 years and in the public spotlight.
Sure.
And a lot of people, like, they just categorize themselves, hey, I'm a two-hander, but it's the same thing as a one-hander. Are you speed dominant? Are you rev dominant?
Yep.
Like, where do you fit in that spectrum? Do you fit more on the, I have higher speed, lower rev, or do I have, you know, so it all depends because you can have some speed dominant two-handers.
Yep.
You know, and that's, like you said, like a guy like Simonson.
Yep.
You know, but that's about it. So, like I said, Alain's got a great start to the game. Yeah, he's been a little bit shaky, but he's been close to the pocket, and he's clean through 3. So let's see what he does here. Makes a little bit of a move to the right, I'm guessing. Hopefully.
That looked deeper.
Yeah, it looks deeper. It looks like he's trying to give it a little bit extra.
Man, the ball's just shoving.
I need to speak louder so they can hear me. Yeah, so listen, we've seen already 2 washout conversions on this show.
Absolutely.
So we got to keep the ball rolling in the right direction here.
The showmaker was putting on an exhibition out there.
That's it. Roger made 2 key splits in his game. That was pretty cool to watch. So what Alain's got to do now is hook it, get the ball to the left side of the 1-2, and unfortunately he doesn't get it. I think he tried to line up on that shot. He was like, okay, I'll take the open. I've got an opportunity because my opponent opened in the last frame. Let's try something a bit different. That's a good shot.
Oh my God,
that hangs.
They didn't even look at the hook.
I didn't think that was going to hang. That looked pretty good off his hand.
I didn't think so either.
That looked okay off his hand.
Watch the replay. The ball just seemed like it just pushed off the spot.
Yeah. I think he's trying to feed it to the right a little bit more. And really, I think he's basing that decision off of what he's seeing on the right lane because he crossed over both times on the right lane. But the right lane is playing so much drier than the left lane.
That, or do you think he's bowling in the practice pair?
No, I don't. I firmly believe. Listen, everybody that's gone high has been on the right lane. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that's gone high has been on the right lane. So people are getting caught into thinking that both lanes are the same.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is when they're practice pair over there, they're trying to open up and play more angle. It's almost like they're trying to come over here and force what's on 9 and 10 to try and come over here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, correct. But what you got to do is you got to play the environment you
are in.
Yeah. So you see, like right now, he moved a complete zone right.
Yeah.
Like he went over 15 on that shot at
That's
the arrows.
much better motion.
Yeah, much better look. He's more end over end. Now all he's got to do is probably ball down a little bit, take something a little bit weaker, and just use that to his advantage. You know. But Alain's in a really good spot right now with
that was interesting.
Another open from Denis Paré. So Alain's in a good spot, you you know, even with not that good of a ball reaction,
Oh,
because
he's getting deeper.
he's got some clean frames coming up.
He just got deeper.
Yeah, he caught that one a bit. Yeah, throwing that one through the spot again.
He just moved
Leaving a more makeable combination than the 1-2, the 1-2-4-10 like he had on the last frame, but still not an easy. This is not a gimme. He's got to soften up, straighten out his angles a bit, and make sure that the ball covers all 3 pins on this spare.
Well, that's the trick in spare picking is you want to have the balls touch as many pins as possible.
Correct. And that's what he's doing right now. This guy, ball hooks too much.
Aye, aye, aye.
So we've only got a 3-pin game here going into the 6th frame. So it's still anybody's game with 5 frames left to go.
Sure, at this point here, it's like starting from frame 1.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah. See, and really, they need to sit down, reevaluate their position, and really figure out what they need to do to go into the next couple of frames here. So he moved a little bit deeper there. Great shot by Alain, getting back on the bus with the first strike since the first frame for both
Well, he got
players.
his ball speed a lot softer that time. Allowed the ball to read.
Correct. You know, I think he's starting to realize that, hey, you know, like, okay, I might be bowling poorly, but I'm only 3 pins behind my opponent. You know, and again, Danny's still struggling. I think he had a good look on that left lane with the other ball. I think he should have stayed with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was surprised he took the other ball in his hand. It wasn't that far off.
Correct. But we have a potential second open frame here with the baby split, 310. So he's got to get that ball fitting in between the 3 and the 10. He's got it. Oh, ball just creeps up high. A little bit too much revs on that spare ball. So what we want to see here is we want to see on your spares, you don't want to try to hook it as much. You don't want side rotation. If he would have thrown that one a little bit more flat, the ball would have gone a little bit straighter and would have taken out the 10 pin.
Yep. Oh, that's going to hook. Aye, aye, aye. Whoa, got a break.
Crosses over, gets the break for the Brooklyn strike here. So Alain coming up here on the left lane with a strike in the 6th. He can easily get a potential double here and take a commanding lead in the game for at least a 12-pin lead going into the 7th. That's got a hook. Hook!
Ooh, that's a lot of boards to cover.
Like I keep telling you, lane 4 is on fire.
Yes.
Lane 4 is on fire. Lane 3 is it's like a curling ring. You know, like that's basically it. The ball looks like a curling rock, the one that he's throwing. He's got to move right on lane 3, hands down. That's what he's got to do.
It's easy to get caught. I mean, you're in the middle of competition here. Your thoughts are running wild. You got to stay in control, but it's easy to get lost.
Yeah. So what he's got to do is he's really got to focus in on this lane. See lane 3. The ball's got nothing to read. He's got to tell himself, okay, I'm locked in on lane 4. I know what to do. Let me focus on lane 3 when I get to lane 3. Right now, when he's standing up on the approach, he cannot think about what he just did on lane 3.
No, he needs to execute lane 4 and then sit down and analyze.
Yes.
And break it down mathematically and figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. Ball change. There we go.
Wow.
Great shot, great ball change. He balls up to something with a little bit more surface, a little bit stronger cover, a little bit stronger core, and we see that ball gets to the break point, stops, changes direction, and just obliterates the pins. Great move by Alain Morneau. And Danny's still struggling to keep the ball in the right part of the lane.
He cut that one short.
Yeah, but he's using something with too quick of response.
Certainly is.
You know, so what we got to see, and I think Alain made the right move by going to something stronger to be able to control the mid part of the lane. You know, anything that's when we mean quick response, just for everyone back home, it means that a ball with a shinier surface or with a higher RG will...
Or a taller pin.
Taller pin will always respond quicker whenever it sees friction. Now, people think of friction as back end.
No, it's friction early.
It could be friction early. It depends on the pattern.
Yes.
So in this case here, we're bowling in a bowling center that has a lot of friction. So right there, we have friction on the lane. Do you want something that's going to respond quick? No, you want something with a slower response. So if your misses don't become exponential.
Exactly.
You want to minimize, and people think that great bowlers are precise, that they can hit a 10-cent piece on the lane. They can't.
No.
But they don't do it like precision work, right?
No.
Like you need certain...
You need room.
You need room.
Yeah, you know, talking to any touring player or any champion, you never hear anybody say that they were splicing boards to win. They always talk about... They always talk
but that's
about...
their ego talking, right?
But they always talk about being able to open the lane up, you know.
Or I shot 550 and I spliced my target the whole That's got to go. That's a bit closer.
Yeah, that's
a bit closer.
That's better ball reaction.
But like I said, he's got a better ball now in his hand, and he's got to move, what, 2 and 2 right? Something like that.
Maybe even a little bit more, because that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
I mean, because
yeah, lane 3, he's missed the headpin, what, 3 times on the left lane?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for him to get down and have somebody jump out in the back with those little brooms they use in curling.
There you go. Good cover there.
That's an excellent cover.
Yeah. So we've got right now Alain with a... Alain's down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alain's got a 6-pin deficit here going into the 10th.
Must show up.
Must show up. Yeah, he's got to show up here in the 10th. And he's got a better look on this lane.
I was going to say that this is actually a little bit of advantage for him, because he actually had a really good reaction last time he threw here.
Yep. Come on, ball. That looks good.
Oh,
Great shot by Alain.
Wow.
That last shot on lane 4 was phenomenal.
You see the confidence he threw in that, and on lane 3, just didn't have any confidence in it because he's so lost.
Yeah, he is lost on lane 3, but lane 3's done and done. So right now, another strike here to stay alive. Well, to stay alive. It all depends on what Danny does on his 10th. He's just trying to force the note here. Come on, ball. That's going to come up. Oh, boy, just 3 off the right.
Thank God it was on a strike.
5 count in the 10th.
Yeah, but if he spares it, it's like solid 10.
Wow. All right, so now Danny, all he needs is to mark Phil in the 10th for the win. Right, Don't?
Yes.
That's got a hook.
Spared it.
All right. Any count at this pace, low scoring as it is, we need count. So.
But anything can happen right now.
Yep.
This is the lowest scoring match that we've seen so far, but
yep.
It seems like the lanes are very tough this week.
Yeah. Oh, making another ball change in the 10th. Whoa, great shot!
Oh my gosh!
Cures it. Gets it in. So now all he needs is a 5 count to tie.
So how many balls did he throw? 3, 4?
He
3?
Made 2 ball changes throughout the match.
That's pretty gutsy.
Yep. So all we need is 6 on the fill. And we should be good for the victory. That's a way better look than what he has.
Yeah.
So we got Denis Paré that edges out the victory here with a potential 159.
Well, there goes our theory as far as throwing the ball up the lane, having a better opportunity.
Well, again, I think that both players were just too far left.
Agree.
You know, I just think that that was the case. You know, you can't play left, and that's a true testament to what we've seen here. So we have Denis Paré win 159 to 154 over Alain Morneau. A little bit of a devastating loss for Alain. He seems a little bit disappointed, but still a great showing. Not his first time on TV, and great to have him. But Danny moves on to the next match to face Jacques Ouellet, who won the last match 203 to 175. And as we see here, none of the bowlers really steady in the pocket and a lot of open frames, Don. What do you think? Players are still nervous? Do you think that, you know, they've seen that some players have had some trouble and that they're trying to combat maybe some demons internally for, you know, trying to get good ball reaction?
I think they're getting faked out there is what I think. I think that they throw a shot or two and all of a sudden the ball does a funky read. And so what's the first thing that they try and jump on and think, well, I need to get something to push the spot.
Correct.
You know, they're getting lost on a read out there. I mean,
they're getting trapped in it because they're trying to create something that's not there.
You know, Mark, it's easy sitting back here and say, well, this, and this, because when you're releasing the bowling ball through your eyes, you don't see the first 15 feet.
Correct, yeah, and that's where it's great. If one of these guys has somebody behind, it gives them a 3D perspective because you don't see what the ball's doing in the first 5 feet or 10 feet when you let it go, because usually you're targeting a little bit further down. So, and that's one of the things that I always learned over the past years was as soon as my ball comes off my hand, I'm trying to find my ball so I get a chance to see it. But a lot of players don't do that, and that's where having somebody in your corner that's going to be able to say, hey, this is what's happening in the front part of the lane, that can definitely help you out a lot.
Yeah, and that's where you need to watch when the ball slows down.
Yes.
Because if you watch when the ball slows down and the motion it makes off the spot, you can get a general feel what's taking place up front. But if you're not focusing on that and you're just speculating and guessing, it makes it difficult.
Right. So we see, so Danny Perry's the higher seed of the two, so he's going to decide who starts on what lane. Looks like Danny's going to, no, looks like Jacques going to start on the right lane.
Boy, he had a good finish in there.
He had a good finish. You know, it took him a little while to get his feet under him and get some strikes on the board. But I think he's confident. He was throwing a couple shots on the practice pair to try to stay warm. But still, he's got the better look of the two because, again, he's a bit straighter. And he's in the pocket.
Look
He's
at
got to roll.
this.
He's going to roll.
Oh! It's like he didn't even leave.
Yep.
Same look.
Well, that's one of the advantages. You know, nobody played on his side during the last game. Still in the pocket, so he hasn't really moved much. Probably just needs to tweak maybe a little bit his ball speed, but still great shot. Just leaving the 7-pin and should be a pretty routine spare for him. Great spare.
Oh, boy.
Oh, flags it.
Man.
Flags it. Early blip here for him. So let's see if Danny can. Switch this up.
He needs to capitalize quick.
Yep. Making another ball change.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, the 10th frame.
That red ball looked good on that left lane. I'm wondering why he's making ball changes again.
Mark, I'm shocked.
I'm shocked too because you know when you hit the pocket and.
Unfortunately, if he's trying with the mindset he's going to open the back ends up, that's not going to happen. It's not there.
No, it's not there. I like the move that he made on the right lane. At one point, he made a move where he went a little bit further right,
yep,
and kind of took his hand out of it and just went a little bit straighter with it. And that didn't look bad.
Well, did you see with his feet? He made a little move to the right, brought his eyes in here, and how quick that ball picked up.
Yep. But still, let's see what he does here. Obviously, like I said, early game, outcomes. He's got a spare over an open frame, so there's an 11-pin lead right there, potentially. Still, crossing over on that right lane. That right lane does not have much room in the middle part of the lane.
No.
That right lane is on toast. That right lane's on fire in the middle part of the lane. And when we say that, that's basically saying that the ball will not hold if you tug it left.
No.
So no. You're kind of trapped. And again,
well, he tossed that one out the window.
Yeah.
Misalignment. It reminds me back when I used to cut surfaces, and we'd see a center that was dish in the middle, and it was almost impossible getting the ball to squirt to the front. To get the ball returned from the outside was never an issue. It was getting the ball to reach that spot, and that's what I sort of see out here. Because, you know, the lane machines they have today are virtually, they put the perfect pattern on every time.
Yep.
And they're exceptional at what they do. So it's almost, to me, it reminds me more of a topography thing. If it was humped in the middle, the ball would be having a hard time making the hill. But if it's slightly dished, the ball wants to keep on because once it starts to go uphill, it starts slowing down. There's
hooking. Another washout just made that we just missed the comment on.
Showtime in the house.
There you go. So guys are making washouts like they're going out of style, but they're flagging single pins. You know, which right now that's an 11-pin difference for Jacques.
Yes.
You know. So that's a huge.
No, he got away with
for
one.
The strike.
There you go.
You know, so he got away with one, but you know that open in the first is costing him a couple pins right now.
It certainly is. Let's see what happens here. Man, it's just having a hard time reaching the spot.
Yeah, but it's reading the spot too hard.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Twice now that he crosses over and goes Brooklyn. I'm still surprised of that ball change. Still surprised.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I wonder whether the next shot he might want to try and jump in and throw over the gutter cap.
No, I don't think so. You think he's going to make a big jump like that left?
I don't know, because it's picking up quick, and that seems to be his ball of choice.
Well, it does look like he moved left a little bit on the approach.
Yep.
Yes, he did. He's still crossing over.
Man.
Well, listen, like you said, he's either got to take a
leap of faith.
A leap left or make a huge strategic change.
Yes.
Like he's got to make a big change because right now it's not working. He's crossing over, he's going through the face, and you can't do that, especially in a condition where it's a little bit low scoring. You know, like the last two shots that he's done, he's gone a little bit high. He needs to be able to make the change so he can control the pocket a little bit better. Just like that, controlling the pocket.
Yep. That was actually not a bad shot. It looked like he sort of missed it on the bottom a little bit, but the ball actually read the lane pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, it's readable. You can adjust off this.
Yeah. Now he's got to make the spare. You know, it's probably creeping in his brain too that
He whiffed one.
That he whiffed one, right? So let's see what he's got to do here on the next shot. And he covers it up, no
Perfect.
problem.
Dead spot. You know, it's just, I just don't wonder if on a 7-pin shot if he wasn't more worried about getting over and throwing lane 3 instead of once again focusing at the end of mine.
Yep. So we see him right now trying to focus on what he's got to do on this right lane. However, he did strike on the last shot on the right lane, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much.
Wasn't it?
True.
Yeah. So.
Line up and throw Brooklyn again. Or do that.
Beautiful shot.
Beautiful shot right through the heart. So you see, taking an extra couple seconds and not listening to what Mark Buffa has to say in the booth. There you go, strike, right?
Knocking the cobwebs out and away you go.
That's it. Knocking the 7 out, no problem. Still going high.
Yeah, he even went deeper yet.
Yeah, that ball's too quick of response.
Man, it's way too strong.
Yeah, it's way too strong off the spot or off of the friction. And like I said, he's trying to get it to that spot, but it's reading the dry too quick, too quick.
You don't see too many two-handers shoot spares like the way he's doing. It's different.
Yeah. Well, we got, again, going back to the two-handed game, you got some two-handers that throw it a certain way. You got two-handers that throw it one-handed on spares. You got guys that throw it two-handed on. So a big leap of faith there left. Still creeping high.
Whoa!
And he gets lucky.
Dominoes, Daddy-o.
The
Dominoes.
squasher. Well, what is it? The Jersey squasher?
Jersey squasher. I watched Tito was bowling the Masters one year. And Ernie Schlegel, he carried some kind of funky shot. He screams out, "Fruit salad for you."
Just shaking out the 10th pin there, staying up. Still should be a routine spare. He has yet to strike on this left lane.
No, but he's keeping the ball in play. I mean, it's so much easier, and you don't have to, try and combat whatever's taking place. If you can keep the ball in play and execute shots for your spares, it makes it much easier to get up to the next shot to bowl.
Yep. So this is a must-spare situation. That's got a hook.
Oh, a lot.
That had some sexy legs on it.
I'm telling you, thank God he had threw the ball a little firm. The wind knocked that one over.
All right, so we've got a little bit of a lead here for Danny Perry. 12-pin lead going into the 7th frame. Excuse me, 7-pin lead going into the 7th.
Good shot.
Great shot, goes high, creeps up
man.
high. This is not a gimme for a lefty.
No.
I think he got a little bit in on that shot. It didn't get to where he wanted. He crossed about 8-9 at the break point. He's trying to get it out to at least 5, and that's what happened. He didn't give it enough space to the left for the ball to come up and make
the shim. Yeah.
So just covering up, getting the 2 on that shot. Danny's got to come up here, and even though he doesn't have the greatest look in the building,
he's still in
the game. Yep. He's still in the game.
Notice switch balls again.
And that's the ball that he struck with.
Yeah, that ball looks great.
That ball looks great. He should have. That's the ball he finished with in the last game to get the pocket hit in the 10th, and he should have stuck with that the whole way.
And look at, he actually moved further right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a great, better shot.
Yeah,
the ball gets to the spot, nice and smooth off the pattern.
Yeah, it rounded this break point out very nice.
But he's still keeping that ball in the left lane.
Oh no.
No, he's got to stay with that red ball in both lanes.
Now,
I don't know why he's trying to play him that different.
This looks like a simple spare, but think about it. The angle he's playing.
Oh, for sure.
This is very difficult.
Yeah, almost what he would want to try to do is go high.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if he goes dead flush pocket on this, he's not making it.
No.
Because he's going to leave the 8-pin.
He's switching to the ball now.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. He's got to go high. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah. See, listen.
I think so. He's got one of those little microphones in his ear.
That's it. Niner.
This is a must strike. I mean, he realistically has to go off the sheet.
Yeah. No doubt. That's got to go. Push.
Good shot.
Log it.
No.
Just creeping high, leaving the 6-pin.
It's close.
Yeah, that was a good shot off his hand. Was a little bit better, a little bit more stable. Just got it to the spot where he wanted. Still creeped up a little bit high. he's close. He's close, but he's got to get a couple of strikes. He only has 2 strikes this game, and his opponent's got at least 2 doubles in the game, so that definitely increases your pin count.
Dramatically.
Yeah, dramatically. You want to be able to string strikes. In the game of bowling, multiplication is key. You know, if you go strike, spare, strike, spare, strike, spare the whole game, you're better off to start 4-bagger open.
Pretty much.
You know, so.
The multiplier.
Yeah.
So he needs to regroup himself here, and this is you got to get Mark. You got to go for broke now.
Yeah, because we got a 27-pin advantage for Danny Perry going into the 9th, which is huge. You know, so this is something that he's got to go for broke, like you said. He's got to get a strike here in the 9th and try to get something going in the 10th.
Oh boy!
Crosses over for the strike again.
Got to throw that there Brooklyn ball.
Lane 4 has been a disaster for a lot of bowlers. There's no hold in on that lane. And Danny's got a good look on the left lane. And Dead peers it, strike on the left lane. And, you know, he's got some momentum going into the 10th here. He can punch out for 222. So great ball change late in the game. But, you know, if he would have had some pressure from his opponent, I don't know if he would have made that move.
Oh, I agree. And here, okay, now he switched back to the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one here keeps it in play pretty good.
Yeah. So I think it's the right play, especially that he knows that it's pretty much safe going into the 10th. You know, just that's it. So the match is pretty much done now.
It's in hand.
Yeah. However, spare strike here. Jacques Ouellet can still strike out to beat him by 3. No, I bet.
He tripped.
Ooh, spares it.
He's on his tippy toes.
Yeah, so Jacques can finish off at 195. And yeah, so Danny just needs to keep it on the lane. He just needs 3 pins to at least force Jacques to strike out. So that spare was key. All right, Danny squeezes out with a low 200, 201 for the win for Danny Perry. So Jacques is just going to finish off the game. He can go sheet for 195. You know, again, bowlers are having trouble with that right lane. You know, just not being able to get the ball to push through the front part of the lane. Danny's got a better ball in his hand now, so he's got to really go back, talk with his peers, see what he can do coming up for the next couple matches, because we'll be seeing him. Actually, we'll see him in next week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in next week's episode because we got the winners from the one side of the top 32 bracket. So we'll be seeing him next week in the upcoming matches. So Danny Perry gets the win, 201 to 163. Both players struggling on the right-hand lane, Doan, and I think that's going to be the key to success going into the upcoming weeks.
I agree that right-hand lane is going to be, if you can conquer the right-hand lane, you're going to bowl exceptionally well.
Correct.
You know, and it's all entry to the front part of the lane, learning where the ball is reading and making sure you watch the ball go off the back of the deck.
Yeah, but as we saw guys go into stuff that's quicker response, which gets more change of direction, and it's not looking that good.
No.
I still think that the better option is to go with something a little bit straighter, a little bit more up the back, and a little bit more control. That's what you're looking for. So either you're doing that through surface or weaker equipment, whatever it may be.
Whatever you want to play, you need to make sure that you play parallel and that you keep it very tight.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. That was week 4 of the Strikers. We are now going into the top 8 of the one bracket. That's Strikers, the bowling champions. See you guys next week.
See you later.